What's happening, internet? And let's talk Ninja Gaiden. So with the announcement of Ninja Gaiden 4, I specifically wanted to make a, how do I want to say this, a specific video about Ninja Gaiden, because I feel like there's some very important things that I want to cover about the Ninja Gaiden series as a whole, because Ninja Gaiden 4's return is absolutely massive for a couple of different reasons. One is that hopefully this is a return to form for Ninja Gaiden, but secondly, that it's also being developed by Platinum Games, and I do actually have a lot of confidence that this may very well be a way of being able to bring Ninja Gaiden back into the spotlight, since we haven't had an original game, an original Ninja Gaiden game rather, since 2013. 2013? Yeah, 2013. So it's been like 12 years now. That being said, let's actually talk Ninja Gaiden the original. So Ninja Gaiden was originally an NES series of games, but then got rebooted later on, and now we have Ninja Gaiden that released on 2004, which is the reboot, turning it from a side-scrolling game into a third-person action hack-and-slash title. And so it sits at a 91 on Metacritic on the original Xbox when it did come out in 2004. We then got Ninja Gaiden Black, which was kind of a updated, better version of the original, and so that got a 94. So I'm actually surprised that critically it did do better, like being able to change up the way that the camera works, small fixes here and there. So I feel like Ninja Gaiden Black is really more of like a patch that Ninja Gaiden went through. And of course, back in the day on the original Xbox, patch culture didn't really exist, because obviously if you made a game and released it, it was only on that disc. Moving on from that, we also got Ninja Gaiden Sigma. Now, Ninja Gaiden Sigma is actually the PlayStation version of the Ninja Gaiden games that were released on Xbox, and so we got them on Vita and PS3 specifically. Oh, that's Sigma 2, but Sigma did come out on PS3 at an 88 on Metacritic. The Vita version did get a 72, so that's actually incredibly unfortunate to see. But ignoring the Vita version, it still was incredibly well received, and Sigma was kind of like a next-gen version of the original release, because again, came out on Xbox originally. We got Black, which was slightly better version, and then a next-generation version in the form of Sigma, albeit that on Vita it was a bit of a buggy mess. Then we got Sigma 2, which falls in line with Ninja Gaiden 2. So Ninja Gaiden 2 did drop on Xbox 360 in 2008, garnering a very positive reception of 81 on Metacritic, and then an 83, which was obviously like Sigma 2 was seen as the better version. And of course, the Vita version didn't do particularly well with Sigma 2, but yeah, I guess it is what it is. And then we get Ninja Gaiden 3, which pretty much killed the franchise for quite a bit of time. So it got a 58 on Metacritic, and that is there for a number of reasons. I also completely forgot about Ninja Gaiden Yaiba. Was it Yaiba Z? Oh, Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z. There we go. So if I go to Metacritic for this game, it did god awful, if I remember correctly. 43 on Metacritic. Holy crap, that's okay. That's real bad. So to put into perspective, Ninja Gaiden is a beloved franchise that is full of highly polished, very high quality titles, but the problem is that we did get a couple of duds which pretty much killed the franchise in the form of Ninja Gaiden 3 and Ninja Gaiden Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z. We did get Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, which, think of Razor's Edge as like the Black or Sigma version of Ninja Gaiden 3, for example. So if I go Razor's Edge, Metacritic. This is back when Metacritic could actually be trusted to give you good reviews, for example. Obviously, it's very different now than it used to be, but hey ho, it is what it is. It's still better, but I mean, the game was still kind of god-awful, even if it weren't for the buggy, glitchy nature of the game, because Ninja Gaiden 3 is a game that expects perfection from you, But in order to expect perfection from the player expects perfection from the game. And of course, as you already may or may not know, people say, oh, Dark Souls is an incredibly difficult franchise, like, oh, like everything is the Dark Souls of something else that might be difficult, annoying, frustrating, or otherwise. And that tells me that these people who say that Dark Souls is incredibly difficult have never played Ninja Gaiden before. Because Ninja Gaiden is an incredibly painful game to go through, especially when you're playing on a couple of the hardest difficulty, especially Master Ninja difficulty. I feel like I cannot stress enough just how incredibly difficult these games can be. And again, largely just a third-person hacky slashy sword game, whatever you want to call it, action game, let's call it that, and is a reboot from the original NES franchise. 1 and 2 did incredibly well, 3 did god awful, Yaiba killed the franchise, and so now we're seeing the return of Ninja Gaiden in the form of Ninja Gaiden 4. Granted that 3 was awful, and it didn't do particularly well, both in terms of sales. I was one of the unfortunate souls to actually buy and play this game. And I wanted to talk about some of the bugs and glitches of Ninja Gaiden 3 that absolutely kills it. And I think the very best example I can think of is that the final boss of Ninja Gaiden 3 is a 2-phase boss fight. And on every other difficulty, you can change your weapons. So certain enemies are weak to certain types of weapons. So there's only 3 weapons in the game. You've got your sword, of course, you've got a spear, and I can't remember what the third weapon was because I haven't played Ninja Gaiden 3 in a really long ass time. But the basic idea is that the final boss, the first phase, is weak to spears, but the second phase is weak to sword attacks. However, the second phase is resistant to spear attacks, so spear attacks do less damage, but sword attacks do more damage. So and that's kind of how it works. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately, in the second phase, when you do start off with the spear, because you use the spear to kill the first phase, which resists sword attacks, you're like, okay, cool. On every difficulty, you're able to change your weapon. But on Master Ninja, whatever weapon you used to land the killing blow on the final boss of the first phase, you're stuck with that weapon in the second phase. So if you landed the killing hit with the spear at the end of the first phase, the second phase has you using a spear. And remember, the final boss's second form resist spear attacks but are weak to sword attacks. So you actually need to kill the boss with sword attacks. So the thing is that what I had to do was get the enemy down to a low enough health with the spear and then kill him with the sword, so that in the second phase all I have to do is kill the enemy using the sword attacks. And that doesn't sound like it's that big of a deal, but the problem is that you don't know what the enemy's health bar looks like. You do not see the enemy's health bar at all for the final boss. So you have to take an absolute guess and a lot of attempts in order to figure out that this is what's happening, and the game never explains it to you because that's not the intended behavior. So the fact that obviously Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge was actually supposed to clean up, some of the bugs and glitches, it still doesn't change the fact that the game's story sucks, and instead took a very Call of Duty approach to its loading screens. Also, for some reason, the cyst on Ryu's arm actually makes so if you kill enough enemies without getting hit too much yourself or dying, you can use the sort of ultimate attack that just heals you as it deals damage to enemies around you, because when you get hit, you don't just lose your health, but you lose a bit of your maximum health, so you can only heal so much during levels. But obviously if you use this sort of ultimate spooky wookie spaz out attack that creates a fire dragon around the entire arena and does insane damage to everything, which you can only use sparingly, surprisingly, as well. And so this curse is what he's trying to lift throughout the game, and that's kind of what the basic story is. However, again, story's not particularly good. There's way too many side plots, and I think the side plot then becomes the main plot, which then results in whatever the final boss fight is supposed to be. Again, I'm not going to go into details, but that babyface thing is just insanely... why? I mean, I get monstrosities are a massive part of Ninja Gaiden's history regarding abominations for enemies, but still, like, there's no reason for that to be the case. But this is just me kind of tearing Ninja Gaiden 3 a new one, only because of the fact that, like, it deserves to get absolutely decked as far as I can, because I hope that Ninja Gaiden 4 is actually a return to form for Ninja Gaiden as a whole. Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z, Ninja Gaiden 3, Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, these were all missteps in the Ninja Gaiden franchise. And these were all part of a reboot of a classic franchise that's been around since the 1980s. So to see Ninja Gaiden 4 look as good as it does, see that the gameplay look as solid as it does, seeing the variety of locations, seeing the variety of enemies, and the fact that they dropped Ninja Gaiden 2 during the Xbox Direct in the form of Ninja Gaiden 2 Black is absolutely incredible to see, because we know Ninja Gaiden 2 is an incredibly solid game. Why they couldn't have done Ninja Gaiden 1? Maybe the game is too old. Why did they not do Ninja Gaiden 3? Because because the story is bad, the enemy variation sucks, the locations suck. The multiplayer is not going to carry over because Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 are largely single player games, when 3 did have multiplayer elements in the form of the ninja trials that you get. So Ninja Gaiden 4 has a lot going for it, and I'm very excited to see what Ninja Gaiden 4 is going to bring to the table. Hopefully it remains largely single player and doesn't have any of those multiplayer elements, and I hope that the game still remains hard as nails for people who choose to play on Master Ninja difficulty, because keeping in mind the game is incredibly unforgiving. With that being said, however, if you have the patience and tenacity and skills to be able to get through this insane difficulty, there is only nothing but props and respect that I can possibly give as a result. So I do hope for nothing but the best for Team Ninja and their action franchise, because it seems like they're doing a buttload less when it comes to, well, no, actually maybe they're doing about as much with Dead or Alive as they can. And of course with the Sigma games and Ninja Gaiden Black games, they do have additional, characters. For example, you can play as Momiji, Kasumi, Ayane, other characters in the franchise, and not just Ryu. So I am kind of interested to see how everything kind of works out in the end. I am hoping for nothing but the best, but we won't know until the games launch. But with all of that being said, however, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. I am going off on a bender because I love the Ninja Gaiden franchise, and so that's why I kind of wanted to make a completely separate video. Otherwise I feel like I would be going on and on the Xbox Developer Direct video, and I feel like Ninja Gaiden deserves its own video. I'm so happy to see this franchise come back. Even if it did make missteps, a new entry means that they can bring things back. That is what I'm hoping for. That is what I am hoping for so very, very much. But with all that being said though, let me know what you guys think about the Ninja Gaiden franchise. Let me know what your history is with this franchise, because as you can tell, I've got a fairly deep history with the franchise myself personally for playing these games and being able to go into the details about just how much pain I had to go through with Ninja Gaiden 3, which holy crap, like Ninja Gaiden 3, man. I never actually played Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z, but I knew it was a bad game. Maybe I'll go back and actually play it for once on PS3. Did it do... PC it actually did better. PS3 it was reviewed the worst. Okay, well I'm curious just for how bad it is, and maybe go for it to platinum, I don't know. But yeah, with all that being said, however, again, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 500 subs by the end of the year. And with all of that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.